Well, good evening. This is Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is an update around 8:50 p.m. on Monday, September 9th, 2024. Francine is showing better signs of intensification. This video update is being produced for the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment, the SISEnet team of stakeholders, which is composed of states, state, private and sector liaisons, and private sector organizations. So we can have a collaborative common operating picture on which to work from, and that is the SISE Hub and GeoCollaborate. You can see right here next to me, Francine is looking a little bit more organized, and that is indeed what's going on. The Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft and also the NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft are finding a better circulation at the surface, and even at mid-levels on radar, an eye is beginning to show up. Winds right now are at 65 miles per hour. However, the structure of the storm is looking better and better, and it is quite likely that we'll wake up tomorrow morning with a hurricane on our hands in the Gulf of Mexico. Now you can see that the center looks a little bit closer to land. The center formed actually a little bit further west than was analyzed earlier today. We are going to have impacts and are having impacts around Brownsville and the southeast Texas coastline. And I will show you in just a second the peak surge forecast, which will impact all the way from Brownsville, Texas on up into Louisiana and places a bit further to the east as well. But you can see on this GOES satellite image, let me take it full screen so you can see what's going on. This is actually lightning that is showing up from the GOES satellite. You can see that coming up here in those colors and those heavy thunderstorms. So there is a lot of thunderstorm activity displaced away from the center. You can see the center. And the imagery changes. You can see kind of like a darkness come over. That is the terminator line where the sun sets and darkness takes over. So the imagery here switches over to infrared. But you can see these little bright spots. These are thunderstorms that are beginning to wrap around the center. And that is why the storm continues to intensify. Matter of fact, I want to show you GeoCollaborate and show you what's going on. There's a number of things that are happening. And I want to take my time going through this because I want to explain all that you see here. The first thing that you see is this colored cone here, going from dark purple all the way to green. This is the probability of tropical storm force winds hitting any particular area over the forecast period that the Hurricane Center issues. And I will zoom in here just a little bit more so you can see. Here is Francine. That's the latest NHC position from their 8 p.m. advisory. This dot is where it's located right now. So it continues to move, and it's expected to take a more northeasterly turn overnight into tonight and into tomorrow morning and afternoon. Needless to say, anywhere you see these purple areas, that's a high probability that tropical storm force winds will be felt. And you can see in Brownsville, Texas, there are very high probability that they will see tropical storm force winds, which are 39 miles per hour to 73 miles per hour. Now, as we move a little bit further to the north, you see it bending the path and the track where impacts are going to be all along the Louisiana coast and even most of the Texas coast as well. And I'm going to turn off this colorful display here. I'm going to turn that off because I'm going to take away the probabilities for a moment and just keep on the advisories that are in effect related to storm surge. You can see this blue line here from Brownsville all the way up to Galveston. That is a peak storm surge of 1 to 3 feet that is expected because of Francine. And remember, Francine will not only intensify, but its wind field will widen as well. And on the map here in GeoCollaborate, you can see these different colors in the Gulf of Mexico. That is the shelf. So it's very deep in the center of the Gulf of Mexico, but you can see it gets shallower and shallower. And that is why tides can rise up fairly easily when you have a storm that's passing off the coastline. Now, if we dive a little bit closer into Louisiana and into southeast Texas. This yellow area is a peak storm surge of 3 to 5 feet that's expected. That is a significant storm surge. Anyone living in the coastal areas in this location, even up the river a bit towards Beaumont, there is a 1 to 3 foot storm surge, peak storm surge that's expected. Also in the area here in Cameron Parish, this is where Hurricane Laura hit a number of years ago in 2020 and caused quite a bit of damage. So this is low-lying areas. Again, a 1 to 3 foot storm surge is expected in Cameron Parish. But from central Cameron Parish all the way over to southwest Louisiana and into St. Mary Parish and Vermilion Parish, Ibina Parish, these storm surges are maximum storm surges here. 5 to 10 feet of storm surge is expected in this area. That is very significant. It's also very low lying in this area as well. So 5 to 10 feet, and that stretches all the way over here into this location of southern, includes all of Terrebonne Parish and Lafourche Parish. That's about where the 5 to 10 foot storm surge eases up. But to the east of that, it's 4 to 7 feet in this orange. 4 to 7 feet in this orange area, and that's around the mouth of the Mississippi River. This is Jefferson Parish in here, Plaquemines Parish. This all the way down here to the mouth of the Mississippi River. We're talking 4 to 7 foot of storm surge expected. And then in the yellow, we go back to 2 to 4 feet, which includes Lake Pontchartrain. I'll bring the map down here. I'll widen out just a little bit. This is Lake Pontchartrain. So we're talking about a 2 to 4 foot storm surge in Lake Pontchartrain, which will be knocking on the doors of New Orleans here. So there's a chance that they may order the closing of floodgates during the day tomorrow, and that may affect east-west rail traffic. You see that crawling in the crawl up top in red. Rail traffic may be impacted during the day tomorrow and Wednesday in the east-west corridors. And you can see that the storm surge potential of 2 to 4 feet extends all the way to Jackson County. This is in Mississippi. So we have Hancock County, Harmon County, and also Jackson County, where we could see storm surges of 2 to 4 feet. That includes Biloxi, Gulfport, and any of the beaches there in Hancock County as well. So this is a significant storm. It is forecast to potentially be a Category 2 storm at landfall. So I'm going to widen out here a little bit. There's a special marine warning going on right here. That's GeoCollaborate picking up the latest warnings from the National Weather Service when they issue those. And now what I want to talk about is the rainfall. I'm going to back out just a little bit more here so you can see when I start talking about the rainfall. Rainfall in this area is expected to be prolific. Now, those of you who live in Louisiana know that you have had excessive rainfall throughout the summer, way above average as far as rainfall is concerned. And so I'm going to display here from the Weather Prediction Center what the 1 to 3 day rainfall forecast looks like. And here it is. I'll back out just a little bit more here so you can see this path of rain, this swath of rain coming right in to Louisiana, and it also includes New Orleans, is some very heavy rainfall. This one right offshore is rainfall of 15 inches that is forecast. Now I'm going to turn off for a second the forecast of the peak surge to get that out of the picture just for a moment. And we'll zoom back in here to Louisiana. And you can see along the Texas coastline as well, there is excessive rainfall that's forecast. And so that could be anywhere from 5 to 7 inches of rain right along the coast. But once you get into Louisiana, look at this right around New Orleans, 7 inches of rain. And so because of that, and that extends all the way inland to Baton Rouge, into Jackson, Mississippi, and on into Little Rock, Arkansas, at the way the forecast track looks right now. These are impacts that extend well beyond that cone of uncertainty. And that is why we don't want to pay attention significantly to that cone. That's only detecting or forecasting where the center of the storm is likely to move, and that has nothing to do with the impacts. So I'm going to turn off this 1 to 3 day rainfall forecast, but I do want to turn on the excessive rainfall forecast for the 3-day period. And I'm going to zoom out here once again so you can see the impacts here in Louisiana. This red area, which includes New Orleans, it includes Baton Rouge, it also includes Jackson, Mississippi, and places just to the east. And in this yellow area too, it's enhanced likelihood of excessive rainfall. That means extensive flooding. Extensive flooding. Remember, the pumps in downtown New Orleans can only handle 1 inch of rain in the first hour, and then a half of an inch of rain per hour after that. So it's likely that we will see flooding in downtown New Orleans and places to the north, all the way into Mississippi as well. So this is the National Weather Service's forecast for excessive rain over a 3-day period because of Tropical Storm, soon to become Hurricane Francine, and it's expected to make landfall. I will turn this rainfall forecast back off, and I will turn on the expected tropical storm wind arrivals for Francine. I'll also turn on the latest wind radii so you can see where the winds are right now in tropical storm radius. So this area of blue means 39 to 70 or to 50 mile per hour winds. This area is 50 mile per hour winds called storm force. And then we'll see another color, orange, appear when it becomes a hurricane. But you can see the tropical storm force winds are impacting the coast of Mexico south of Brownsville. And as the storms continues to move to the north, Brownsville may experience tropical storm force winds, which could result in some power outages. Now, I'm also going to turn on, GeoCollaborate can access and share the forecast wind radii from the National Weather Service as Francine is forecast to intensify. I'll back out here just a little bit so you can see what it looks like. This is the initial radii, hurricane force, tropical storm force winds here, but you can see the forecast here. And as the storm moves closer to Louisiana, you can see the tropical storm force winds in this area and hurricane force winds right in this area. So it looks like we would see tropical storm and hurricane force winds in places like Morgan City, Louisiana, in Bateman Island, Avalon, in Centerville, over to Amelia and Zaccarder, Gibson, Bayou L'Ours, also over towards Marsh Island. Nobody lives on Marsh Island. I don't believe it's too marshy. But Route 90 will be significantly impacted by this storm, and that includes Jeanneret, Sorrel, Ashton, Glencoe, all these places that are in the path of the storm, Napoleonville on up to Bellarose and Burnside as well. So this storm is going to have a broad impact, and this is just the wind field. This doesn't mean it's the storm surge. Remember, the winds are blowing counterclockwise, will blow into Lake Pontchartrain, and that will raise the water 2 to 4 feet. So we will see impacts in those areas. So let me show you just back out just a little bit and show you the sea surface temperatures. They are cooking in the Gulf of Mexico. This is what you see here. The arrow I've pointed is to where Francine, the center of Francine, is right now. Temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico are in the mid to upper 80s, even to the coastline. They're a little bit cooler along the coastline, but it's not going to impact Tropical Storm and then soon to be Hurricane Francine because the water is warm at depth. It's a very deep column of warm water. And so I just wanted to show that to show how much potential energy there is in the Gulf of Mexico. So for those of you that live to the east in Alabama and Florida, there's not going to be a direct impact weather-wise from Francine. You won't see flooding rains, although there is more tropical moisture moving your way. So in isolated thunderstorms, you will see heavy downpours. However, and that's why Florida is green there in that graphic, because there is a chance for localized flooding rains, not directly due to Francine, but due to the interaction of more tropical moisture and a stationary front that's kind of draped across Florida. But we'll also see impacts in the waves. The waves will radiate out from Tropical Storm, soon to be Hurricane Francine, and that will cause rip currents all along the Florida Peninsula and the west coast of Florida. So be very vigilant if you have any plans to go towards the coastline. Now, I want to talk about impacts here because we do have impacts to a lot of critical infrastructure, transportation. So we know that members, stakeholders of the All Hazards Consortium and the SISEnet team are already having coordination calls to make sure groceries are positioned to be in areas that are hard hit, so residents can have relief and get the items that they need after the storm hits. Also, planning possible positioning of key products that may be needed. Also, for the railroads, Tropical Storm Francine is causing the potential closing of some floodgates in Louisiana. And should that happen, some of the gates around New Orleans do carry rail traffic. And that rail traffic will have to stop if those gates are closed. And so east-west freight rail traffic will be impacted if those gates are closed. We haven't received confirmation yet that they are going to be closed, but we did hear today on the Louisiana private sector business emergency operations call that they are closing some floodgates to the south. Tropical storm force winds may arrive late Tuesday into Wednesday morning. I'm thinking now more Wednesday morning instead of Tuesday night, but the waves and gusty winds will be kicking up during that time. So that's the way that it looks right now. I think we're going to see this storm increase in intensity. We're going to see it blossom, if you will, and the wind field expand. And when that wind field expands, we will see more water pushed towards Louisiana. That is why we have that 5 to 10 foot peak storm surge, where a storm surge warning is in effect. We'll keep you posted. There'll be another update tomorrow around noontime. I'm Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's a little bit longer update this evening, but I just wanted to give you a lot of the information that we know so far. But Francine is increasing in intensity. Looks like it's headed for southern Louisiana, and we'll keep you updated. Stay tuned to the National Hurricane Center's updates on their webpage. We'll be back with a special All Hazards Consortium sensitive information sharing environment update around noontime tomorrow. Thanks, and have a good night.